It was a great game. England got away to a flying start. We showed a bit of composure and come back into it, and to be as close as we were at half-time was probably a credit to our mental fortitude and our ability to hang in there. And then the second half, I thought we controlled the game pretty good.
Tough game. Obviously, conditions played their part towards the end, and from our point of view, obviously disappointed to have lost, having put ourselves in a position, at half time where obviously we were up. But credit to them, they managed that third quarter really well, and obviously that's probably the area of the game we need to review and improve on for next time.
The big thing that changed was we got a wee bit urgent. In that first half, England were probably half a click in front of us the whole time and showed more desperation and urgency to get to places, and we talked about it in the changing shed, particularly up front, that we needed to get urgent before we needed to get desperate in the last 5 minutes. So once we started to get to the point where we were actually controlling the momentum of the game, then you can control what happens within those moments, and we were fortunate enough to score points when we were doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they're a quality attacking team, and they've got physicality, pace, power, and I guess when you look at the last try they scored, the number of phases that they maintained, their skill level under pressure, and we defended well. There weren't that many line breaks, and we got off the line quickly and put them under pressure. But even when the conditions closed in, that shows you why they're the champion team.
10 months' time when the World Cup starts, it's totally different to what it was today. There's it would come down to a knockout game. That's different to what a test match now is. So I don't think you can read too much into it either way. Like, we certainly won't be getting carried away with ourselves. But it is nice to come up here and knew we were going to be in for a big test match, and we got the job done, and that's pleasing. Like, that's what our goal was, and if it does have any effect next year, well, that's well and good. But from our point of view, you don't get too carried away with it, and we've got 2 more tests to go on this tour before we have a bit of time off, and we want to do that well as well. And if we do that, then we can enjoy a few weeks off before we think about next year.
Just to add to that, there's a lot of people talking about the psychological advantage of winning today. There's a lot of us think that's a load of baloney, because there's no psychological advantage if we don't make it to the next stage to play England. We're assuming a lot of, we say, yeah, we're definitely going to play them, and so are England, and probably so are you blokes, because there's some great rugby teams that are going to go to the World Cup. The World Cup's not about one team, it's going to be about 5 or 6. And the All Blacks have shown many times that you can be top dog and not get there.
The All Blacks have come in on the back of 2.5 months together and played 8 games since we last played them. And I thought we put them under pressure. They made some errors, but sometimes error are forced by defence. And I thought we did that well. I thought we created opportunities in attack. But obviously there is an element of a period of play that they constructed that showed why they've got that experience and those caps in their team that helps them close out a game like that, and that's what we've got to get.
My biggest concern about is not the TMOs and the refs, certainly not publicly anyway. My biggest concern though is that the TV producers are starting to have an influence on the game, and they're, it's not on the away side, I might add. Like, something goes wrong, we see a replay 10 times, and the referee hasn't seen it, the touch judge hasn't seen it, the TMO hasn't seen it. Then we need to bring in a challenge. So if some player, if the coach has seen it, he can challenge for it, or the skipper's seen it, he can challenge for it. If they don't see it, we don't need a TV producer to replay something 100 times. That's not in the character, the spirit of our game. Referees will make mistakes. They're just like players. They'll make mistakes, and some of those mistakes will cost you the game. But you've got to live with that, because someday you'll get the rub of the green that the mistake you make actually lets you win it. So, but TV producers, they're starting to annoy me somewhat, yeah.
In that clash of the big men out on that far wing, as Farrell reaches in. And now a good running ball here for England. And a real opportunity. Dagg lining up for the tackle. Can't make it. And Johnny May scores a great try.
Johnny May! They will remember, he will remember this regardless of the result of this game for a very, very, very long time.
As the All Blacks start to build a few phases now, as Cruden missing out one player. Here's a bit of space for Ben Smith-Reid. Hands it on to Kano. And Jerome Kano, oh, he burst out a couple of tackles. And he's right there, just 3 or 4 metres short. And it's there again for Aaron Smith. Short pass, and Aaron Cruden's in. Lays it up for Aaron Smith again. Reid puts Franks into a nice gap. Inside the 22 they go. Aaron Smith again, they've got numbers to burn. And off to McCaw. Richie McCaw scores.
Well done, Richie McCaw. They always had the numbers, Dagg. He needed to commit the player so he couldn't drift. I understand why he held on to it for so long. So Hartley, of course, is always usually a nuisance. He holds on to him, but you can't kick out, and it's got Danny Kerr right on the ankle. Unintentional, completely unintentional, but you can't kick out.
If you can't react with kicking out with the feet carelessly like that, off you go.
McCaw hands it off. In fact, no, he didn't. He sold the dummy.
He did. It actually came back to him somehow.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay. So, quick hands.
Oh, great line, Sonny Bill.
Bill's in big space. Needs to keep going. Couple of metres short. Lays it back. There it is. Cleared away by Franks. Oh, offside, England.
Josh, you'd almost have to think this is a penalty try.
Well, certainly a yellow card.
It has to be.
Perenara looks left and right. Finds Falmoina. Back on the inside it goes for Crotty. Claiming a try and scoring it.
Oh, well done, New Zealand. 24 phases.
As England get it in through Ben Youngs, they're going to have a crack at this All Black scrum. Maybe try and make a statement at the end. Morgan controls. Oh, hang on, penalty try.
Oh, I just can't, honestly. So many decisions in this game.
It's been converted. Oh, knocked on by Rob Shaw. That'll be it. It's been a brave effort by England, but the final whistle blows. Disappointment for Stuart Lancaster, but they showed plenty today, that is for sure. The All Blacks, though, their second half performance won it for them.
Hi, I'm Gregor Paul from the New Zealand Herald, here with Pat McKendry from the Herald at Twickenham, where the All Blacks have won 24-21. Pat, kind of boiled down to a 10-15 minute period in the third quarter when the All Blacks were reduced to 14 men, where that seemed to be the catalyst for them to take control of this game and win it.
Yeah, very much so. They did take control, didn't they? And played very, very well, showed a lot of patience and also a lot of urgency after a fairly slow start. So they did a lot of damage there, I think, too, mentally for England, who, you know, they should have played better with the one-man advantage.
Well, that's the thing. I thought the momentum was with the All Blacks before Dane Coles got yellow carded, and England would have been expecting at that point that everything was going to turn for them, but they couldn't get into it. Just your feeling there, was that the All Blacks stepping up, do you feel, or do you think England thought, oh, we've got the man advantage, we'll sit back and enjoy this?
I think it was probably more the All Blacks and what they delivered. I thought that actually they looked reasonably rusty in the first half, and it was kind of surprising because obviously they've played a lot more rugby than England have the past couple of weeks. So that was sort of a little catalyst, wasn't it, to really make them lift their game, and that's what Richie said earlier, Richie McCaw. He said that and basically they needed to grasp the game by the scruff of the neck, and I think they did that.
Who for you in that period stood out? I thought the skipper himself was outstanding. He pulled off a couple of turnovers that were critical. In fact, Reid and Kino were both outstanding as well. Was there anyone else for you?
I thought Richie McCaw was outstanding. A bit disappointed he was booed by the crowd afterwards. I thought it was a bit sort of petulant, but a class act. I mean, how many tests has he played now for the All Blacks? 135. Just incredible. He just shows absolutely no sign of slowing down. He just got that knack of doing the right thing at the right time and being in the right place.
He does indeed. Pat?